All right, let's get started today. For today's lesson, you will need your math notebook, your whiteboard marker, your whiteboard, and your pencil. So let's begin with some review. Estimate in your head 2,973 times 22. What can I change 22 to make it easier to multiply? And what can I change 2,973 to make it easier to multiply? So we're going to round the first number to the nearest 1,000 and the second one to the nearest 10. And we get 3,000 times 20. If we do 3 times 2, add the zeros, we get 60,000. So our answer for our original problem should be close to 60,000. So let's use the area model to solve for the product. This is another review. So when you're making an area model, you're going to take your two numbers and you're going to decompose any numbers that are 2 digits or more. So the value of the 2 is 20. The value of the 4 is 4 times 3. So it should look like this. 20 because the value of the 2 in 24 is 20. And then your 4 times 3. So you do 3 times 20, which is 60. 3 times 4, which is 12. And then you add the products. 60 and 12. So 60 plus 12 is 72. So this means that we have 24 groups of 3 or 3 groups of 24. So today we will use area models to determine the product of multi-digit whole numbers. And product, of course, is the answer to a multiplication problem. And multi-digit whole numbers are any whole number with 2 or more digits. Okay, an area model is just like what we did, but we're going to have two multi-digit whole numbers as opposed to just a single digit and a double digit. Okay, what is the product of 12 times 12? Yeah, it's 144. How can we use an area model to solve this? Okay, so we are going to take our two numbers, 12 and 12, and we're going to decompose them. We're going to look at the digits. 1 is in the tens place, so that 1 is actually worth 10, and 2 is in the ones place, so that is 2. So 12 is actually 10 plus 2. Same with the other one, 10 plus 2. Okay, so we're going to multiply 10 times 10, which gives us 100. Right? Then we're going to multiply 10 times 2, which gives us 20. Then we are going to multiply the 2 times the 10, which gives us 20. And then we're going to multiply 2 times 2, which gives us 4. So now the next thing we're going to do is add up the sum. We're going to find the sum of all of our areas that we found. Okay, so we're going to add them all up. 100 plus 20 plus 20 plus 4. Okay, gives us 144. Now, how did we get the same answer? Because we are adding the area, we multiplied by the value of each digit, and then we added all of that together to get 144. Okay, so we're going to use an area model to find the product of 64 times 73. If we look at the 64 and the 73, let's think of a way that we can see if our answer makes mathematical sense. So what should we do if we want to know if our answer is reasonable? We're going to estimate. So if we rounded 64 and 73 to the nearest 10, what would we get? Well, 4 tells us to round down, and the 3 does as well. So we'd have 60 times 70. 60 times 70. So we're going to multiply 6 times 7, and then the tens, add the zeros, and we end up with 42 times 100. We're using, and we have 4,200. Now that is our estimate. So our answer should be similar or close to 4,200. The estimate helps us determine if our answer is reasonable. Okay, so let's do an area model. Let's represent units of 73. So we're going to label the length as 73. Okay, how many 73s are we counting? 64. We have 64 groups of 73 or 73 groups of 64 because multiplication, as we know, is repeated addition. So if I was going to write the value of each digit, so it is worth 70, okay? And then we have 3, which is in the ones place, so 70 plus 3. 64, 6 is in the tens place, so it's 60 plus 4. What is 60 times 70? Estimate too, huh? 4,200. Or 4 times 70. So we have 4 times 7, and then times the 10. 28 times 10, which is 280. What is 60 times 3? 6 times 3 times the 10. 18 times 10, 180. And then 4 times 3 is 12. So now we're going to add up, find the sum of all of our areas. So if we add it all up, 2, 17, 6, 4. 4,672. So is that close to our estimate? It's pretty close, right? It makes mathematical sense. Our estimate was 4,200. And our answer is 4,672. So it's a bit higher, but why? Why is that? Does it make sense? Well, look at the numbers, 64 and 73. We rounded both of those down. So 64 became 60 and 73 became 70. So it makes sense that our answer is actually a little bit bigger than our estimate. Okay, now try this one. Start with an estimate and then solve. Try this one on your whiteboard. And pause the video. And when you're done, press play. Okay, so you should have gotten 57, 50 plus 7, 65, 60 plus 5. You multiply 50 and 60 and get 3,000. 50 and 5 and get 250. 7 times 6, 420. And 7 times 5, 35. If you add those all up, you should have gotten 3,705. All right, the next one on our notes, you're going to use an area model to solve. let's come up with an estimate that would help us decide if our final answer makes sense. So I'm going to look at 624. If I'm going to round that to the nearest 100, the 2 is going to tell the 6 to, it's going to tell us to round down. So we're going to keep 6 the same and we're going to make it 600. The 2 is also going to tell us to round down, so we're going to keep the 8 the same and make it 80. So 600 times 80. Now, 600 is really 6 times 100, right? Because 6 is in the hundreds place. And 80 is really 8 times 10, because 8's in the tens place. So we are going to do 6 times 8 times 100 times 10, because we have this 100 and this 10. And then we have our 6 and our 8. So 6 times 8 times 100 times 10, which makes it easier for us to do mental math. So we have 48 times 1,000, which is 48,000. Okay, so our estimate is 48,000. Our answer should be close to 48,000. Okay, so if I'm looking at 624 and 82, I'm going to decompose these numbers and write the value of each digit. So the 6 is in the hundreds place, so that the value of the 6 is 600. 2 is in the tens place, so the value of the 2 is 20. 4 is in the ones place, so the value is 4. 8 is in the tens place, so the value of that 8 is actually 80. And then 2 is in the ones place, so it is 2. So we have 80 plus 2 when we decompose 82, 8 tens and 2 ones. And if we decompose 624, we have 600 plus 20 plus 4. 600s, 2 tens, and 4 ones. When I multiply 600 times 80, you can do the 6 times 8, add the zeros, 48,000. Okay, 600 times 2, we could do 6 times 2 times 100, 12 times 100, 1,200. 20 times 8, 2 times 8, times 10 times 10 times 10, equals 16 times 100, 1,600. 2 times 20, 2 times 2 times 10, 4 times 10 is 40. 80 times 4. We have 4 times 8 times 10, 32 times 10, 320. And 2 times 4 is 8. So now we have the products of the value of each digit, and we can add all of these partial products up to find, we're going to find the sum to find the answer. And we end up with 51,168. Okay, is that close to our estimate? Does it make mathematical sense, our answer? Yeah. So it makes sense if our estimate, let's go back to our estimate here. Okay, so if our estimate was 48,000 and our final answer, let's look and see. And our final answer was 51,168. Does our answer make mathematical sense? Yeah, we rounded 624 down, and we also rounded 82 down. So it makes sense that our answer is actually a little higher than our estimate was. Okay, for the next one, I want you to find the answer using an area model, and then pause the video and press play when you are done. Okay, you should have gotten 32,526. 800 plus 30 plus 4, 30 plus 9, multiply the value of each digit, add up all of your partial products to find your answer. What would it look like if I made an area model for this problem? Now you have a 3-digit by 3-digit. So it's no different. You're just going to decompose each number and you would have more boxes. Okay, so to close, use an area model to find the product of 75 and 32, and use an area model to find the product of 237 times 53. If you would like to check your work, 75 times 32 is 2,400, and 237 times 53 is 12,561.